everything matters in your body. You can't neglect any part.
Mm.
Yeah, you have to do your dental cleaning. You have to do your regular checkups. You have to stretch. You have to do yoga.
Yeah.
You have to do eye exams, hearing checks, all that stuff.
All the little things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and especially as we're getting older, yeah, it's more important. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
because studies shown that if you don't clean your damn teeth, you're gonna get Alzheimer's.
Is that proven?
Well, yeah, it's proven in some ways, based on mice lab tests, that it links up to Alzheimer.
Yeah.
They recently found a cure to HIV. I don't know if you read that. There was a HIV patient that was resistant towards HIV, and then they used that as a they did what's that, bone marrow tests on that patient that was resistant towards it, and applied it to another patient, and it worked for now. So they're like still testing it out, but it works. It totally reverses HIV, which is good news, because there's a huge number of them.
I wonder if big pharma is going to be all like trying to hinder these results or hinder. You know how they always say like there's this big conspiracy that big pharma keeps people sick because it keeps them rich.
Yeah. Well, just like insulin, I also read that costs about $120 per like a little vial of that.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a huge monthly expense because people would go through probably 2 or 3 of those.
I wonder who owns those.
Yeah, but those business are
making bank.
Making bank.
Right.
Yeah.
Off people being sick.
Yeah, off people that are sick, and it sucks. Yeah.
And I bet they're not like, when they sell this vial of insulin, they're not like, okay, man, like, what are you doing to make your life better? They're probably just like, ka-ching, bye, see you next month.
Yeah.
Right? They're not educating. Like Jenna was telling us that she knew somebody dealing with that, and that it's such an expense, and like they've sort of had an attitude of like they've settled with the idea of this is my life. This is my life to inject insulin. Right. And it's like, geez, that sucks. I know what that feels like because I would, I was injured for so long, for like 6 years. And then I was thinking too, like, is this my life? Am I not going to be able to throw disc golf, all these little things that I was doing? And like you get settled, like, oh, I'm just going to have to do this. And they just accept it. That sucks. Instead of giving them like, hey, like if you change your diet, what will that do? Right? But you like changing people's behaviors is really hard. It's not just changing a diet, it's changing the behavior. Like you actually wanting to eat healthy. Right?
Yeah.
And not being like, oh, this sucks every time you go eat.
Like very similar to like, oh man, Kaiser nickel and dimes you all the time. You visit the doctor, you pay, you get home, you get a bill.
Yeah, what's up with that, man?
But you know what? It's their policy, and that's what it is. That's what it is, and you just need to do it for your own sake to stay healthy, stay on top of your game, so you can visit less. So if you can visit initially, just to know where your standard of health is currently, then know what to fix, know what to work on, then you won't have to revisit all the damn time.
Well, I think like I let that dude who told me I should get an x-ray get to my head.
Yeah.
Because I knew what I was doing. I already knew, like I already saw progress and proof that I was doing the right things for my knee.
Yeah.
And going in there and having an x-ray and like, okay, if this is hurt and I have to go see an x-ray for this, like, should I ask you about this? Like you start spiraling in your brain, and then you start getting super worried, which they love.
Yeah.
And then they're telling you, oh, just go and talk to me on the Kaiser website or whatever, and they charge you $100 for that. And it's like, what the fuck? So it's all really like this negative spiral that they feed on because they have to feed themselves.
Yeah, they have to feed themselves. I kind of think about it as the knowledge that they went through, paying their college degree, what they retained to get them where they're at, you're basically
But they
funding
don't
them.
give you any valuable information
Yeah.
that you already couldn't look up or know for
Yeah.
your own sake, because I'm not
Mhm.
like invalid. It's not like I wouldn't be able to do that. Or they go, oh, we can't tell. You'll have to come in. They still
Yeah.
charge you for that. And I was like, this is a racket. So
It's
as
a
long
business.
as
It's basically
it's not healthcare,
they-
it's a business.
it's been a business. Yeah, they've been funneling you.
They call it healthcare.
Yeah, left and right. Like, all right, you need this, then you're
You
gonna
go
go
to
over here,
specialist.
and then you go over here,
Yeah.
and then you go over there.
It's a racket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's like referral within their company.
Their company, yeah, their business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kaiser tries to monopolize in every field.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do the physical because that's taken care of
Mhm.
because we already pay for our insurance, so that's taken care of, and then I can do my blood work, and then I just have to know and trust me to take care of me
Yeah.
and my health, and know like because our diet's gonna be all different. You
Yeah.
can't rely on what like you be keto or you like it's so specific to you.
Mhm.
Like anybody who's like trying to lose weight, like that's the reason why diets don't
I
work.
don't care about paying for lab works because there is knowledge behind that. You don't have the machine to do that, the technology to draw blood and detect how much,
Oh, you have to pay for that one?
yeah, you have to pay $60 for it.
Oh, that's not bad.
And I was like, no, that's cool because, I don't have time to do that if I knew how to do that.
But you
And we
could go
don't have-
privately.
Yeah,
I
you
know.
can do privately, but I
Yeah.
don't know how much that costs. But it's cool. Like I don't care. That's something I would pay for. But to get like a dental cleaning, right? Yeah, that's something I'll pay for. Eye exams, that's something I'll pay for. But for advice, I don't think it's necessary. I feel.
Yeah.
Nowadays, right? Where you can look it up and then you can do your own comparison based on your own research,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the internet does scare you thinking that you have something else, but you don't.
Yeah. I think we've lost, or I truly lost like the ability to trust me, like to feel empowered that I can handle and control my health. Like thinking that I'd have to go to this doctor or this specialist or whatever. Like sometimes they need to be there for the for the crisis stuff that happens. Like like the pre-diabetic diagnosis. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was always within your knowledge to eat well
Yeah.
and to take care of yourself, right? So it's nice to have people like that to acknowledge or validate special case or specific conditions, right? And or the chiropractor to like be like, okay, your hips are out of alignment, I can like put it back, but you got to do the work.
Yeah.
She actually would say that to me. You got to do these exercises, and then doing a bulk of the research online, like what I could do myself. I still had to do it. I still had to take a lot of control so I didn't have to keep going back to her. And I went to her 4 times, and then now I'm not going back, right?
Yeah.
So she actually empowered me to take control of my health versus the Western medical system, which is like, oh, you have this, and they try to put you in this box, and you need to, do all these things because you have this condition. You are labeled this. And you start identifying with that condition. Like I would identify with my back hurts. Like that would be the first thing I would think about myself. And that's something that you maybe can kind of keep track of is like, you don't want to be identified with your diagnosis.
Yeah.
The way that a lot of cancer patients do, I think. I've read that somewhere too.
Yeah.
It's like you start thinking you are this disease.
Yeah.
You start thinking you are this ill formation of your body.
Yeah.
And then you start to like think that's all you are. Like, this is it.
I don't think that's it. I'm going to reverse this shit.
Right. No, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying like collectively, it's really easy to start thinking like that because they don't empower you unless you have the discipline to empower yourself and be like, no, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
But if you've been dealing with, say, pain for a long time or overweight for a long time, and you just start thinking, I've always been like this.
Yeah.
I've never looked like that. Like, that's one I think both we can identify with. It's like, I've never looked like that. I've never been super duper hecka fit, whatever. I've never looked like that. So how can I even imagine
Yeah.
of going here? Right? Like, I think I've heard you say like, oh, I just want to get to this. Where it's like you couldn't even picture yourself being super duper ripped and all that stuff. And I was right there with you. I was like, I can't imagine that for myself either. It's because we've limited ourselves to be in this settled, like, this is who I am. But now I think we're both being consistent, both taking control individually of our health, and that we can maybe actually see that, really that ideal person and actually believe it.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we have friends that also think in that mindset as well.
I'm sure it's relatable for everybody, because it's like believing what's actually possible.
Yeah.
It always kind of like it gets wider and wider and wider as you see the possibility for yourself. Because in reality, you can really do anything, right? But it's you, the one who's like, oh yeah, I can, and then your reality does expand. But maybe you have still some limitation. You still think some limitations about yourself. And then you go do something like lose 10 pounds and you're like, well, maybe I can. So it keeps expanding as you keep allowing yourself to see that possibility. And so I think that's pretty cool. And it's good that we're kind of like both on the same track.